guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to give you a list of 3 challenging aspects of selling on Amazon FBA and how you can overcome them to make sure that you pick a product that is going to make you a lot of money and so that you don't have to feel stressed out when you are starting off as a beginner. So if you do like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And let's just get right into these top 3 challenges of Amazon FBA. So the number 1 challenge that I want to talk about is Amazon's ever-changing rules, okay? I'm not here to be overly negative. Obviously, I sell on Amazon. I make an incredible income as a seller. I've been doing it for almost 5 years, so it's not a deal breaker. But if you are someone who gets very comfortable with certain rules and certain criteria to follow whenever you're starting something new, like you need very specific rules, Amazon will give you those rules. The thing is that they can change them at their own discretion. So for example, there have been times in the past where Amazon has made it a little bit tricky for new sellers to do certain things. For example, during the they put a limit on the number of units that sellers could send into the fulfillment centers. So prior to that, there were no restrictions. You could send in as many or as little products as you wanted. I've talked about it before on my channel. When I very first started on Amazon, I started with exactly 5,000 units of my very first product. Amazon cut all of that out. They said, now we're going to put rules in place so that you can only send in a certain limited amount, and that first started during the So when they had these restrictions in place, it was frustrating for people who were wanting to send in a certain amount of units, to be limited in that and not to be able to send in as many as you wanted. Honestly, I think that it was a blessing in disguise because it kind of forced people to be more aware and think more carefully about how many units they were going to send in, because you couldn't just send in any random amount or over order on your first, shipment of inventory. So, it was like a bittersweet thing, and it was just a bit annoying to have to adjust to that. So that is an example that I can think of off of the top of my head. Another example is that Amazon's fee structure changes from year to year. Just like inflation causes things to increase in price, Amazon has to keep up with that. They have to continue to pay people. They have to continue to keep their business going. And so at times they are going to increase the fees, which, most of the time is nothing significant. It might be by a couple cents. It might be by a quarter, 50 cents. Nothing that is going to be super drastic. But at the same time, if you are a good business person, or if you're someone who is selling a product that has a very small profit margin, meaning maybe you're buying the product and you're only going to make $2 off of every one that you sell, which I don't recommend. You should be making at least $5 off of each one. But if for some reason you're selling something with a smaller profit margin and now your fees go up by 50 cents, that is not a big amount of money in general, but 50 cents out of $2, that's a fourth. You're cutting down your profits by 25%, which is not something that anyone wants. So a good way to combat that is by making sure that your profitability is giving you enough of a cushion so that if Amazon happens to increase their fees, it doesn't hit you as hard. It doesn't, destroy your entire business. So that is one thing that I can say that can definitely be a challenge. And overall, I will say, I've been selling on Amazon for 5 years. There are certain things that they have always had certain rules about that don't really change. So, when it comes to reviewing, making sure that your reviews are honest, making sure that you don't explicitly ask for 5-star reviews, following your terms of service in general, those are things that are going to remain largely the same. It's just, when these unprecedented events happen and these random things happen, Amazon has to pivot. And of course, that's going to affect us as third-party sellers who utilize their platform in order to sell our products. The next topic that I want to talk about, number 2, is not even an actual challenge. I will say it's more of a perceived challenge. So let me explain why I'm saying that. This perception that Amazon is so saturated, so competitive, so hard, to be able to make money on, I truly believe to be a myth. And the reason that I say that is because Amazon is such a big platform. It's such a big marketplace that to say that it is saturated just actually doesn't even make sense. How can a marketplace with millions and millions of products being sold be saturated? There's just no possible way that every single category or every single niche or subcategory can be saturated. Now, what can become saturated are specific niches or specific products. For example, if you're trying to sell something like a jade roller, of course that's saturated. This is 2023. We're not back in 2020. Or if you're trying to sell fidget spinners, this is not 2017. Of course it's saturated. Of course it's, not something that you'll be able to make money with. So it's more of a matter of you being strategic with your product research and actually picking things that are in demand, picking things that there is not too much competition for. It's up to you as the seller to find that right balance and to carve out that opportunity and really to be able to evaluate the spaces where you're able to come in with an offer and be able to set yourself apart by differentiating your product, making it better in some way, and entering the market in a way that you're giving your customers a reason to buy your product. That's really all it comes down to. I've seen people launch all different types of products over the years. I myself have launched over 12 products in the last 5 years. So I've had a lot of experience with seeing what works and what doesn't. And I can tell you right now, right off the bat, what does not work is selling products in niches that are saturated. If all of the products are looking the same, everything is identical, there's not really any way to differentiate the product or customize it or make it better in any way, you have no business selling it. Even if it's making $1 million a month and the competition is low, if you cannot differentiate your product, you don't really have a business, because all it will take is for someone to come in and copy you, and now they're taking all of your business, or they're putting more money into ads and they're basically taking all of your customers. You make it difficult for them to do that when you set yourself apart by differentiating your product. And I do have videos on my channel that talk all about differentiating products and how to really market your products so that you stand out compared to your competitors. So when you launch your product, you're giving people a reason to buy yours over the other people selling the same product as you. So to add on to that, as we're talking about saturation and competition kind of being this myth, it's really important that when you're doing your product research, you are using a software to do that product research. You all know I use and love Helium 10. Helium 10 is the best product research tool for Amazon FBA by far. And I do have a link in the bio to try it out if you are interested in selling on Amazon. You definitely want to use that tool to look for your products. And when you are looking, see the information for what it is, analyze what you're looking at for what it is. Don't make things up in your mind or get overly emotional about these products, become overly attached or invested in these products, because at the end of the day, if you are looking at Amazon FBA as a way to, change your life, it really is about the money that it can make you. So whether or not you have to sell a product that you love does not matter. It's more so about picking something where the data backs it up. So if the numbers look good, that's what you should be selling. If the numbers don't look good, you're not going to sell it. Even if it's a product that you love, even if it's one that gets you super excited, that is not enough to overcome the fact that the data does not justify it. So I would highly encourage you to pay more attention to the numbers, put more emphasis and more weight to the data and analytics versus your emotions, your personal feelings towards the products. I personally know people who sell products that they could care less about. I'm one of them. I'm not invested in my products whatsoever. I'm not attached to my products whatsoever. But what I am invested in is the amount of money that they make me. And I think having that mentality and that strategy when scaling my business really is what got me to where I am now. When I found a product that was working, I didn't look at the product and say, do I really love this product? No, I looked at the money and I said, wow, $10K a month, this is incredible. How can I sell more products that are similar to make $20K a month, 30, 40, 50? How can I build? How can I scale? How can I increase, my income by selling these products that other people want? It's not about what I want. It's about what the people want. What do the customers want? Are there people who are willing to buy this product at the price that I am wanting to sell it at? And that should be the most important thing, especially as you're starting out, because how you start is really going to determine what makes it easier for you to make more and more money. I don't know if you all have ever heard people talk about, or successful people, rich people, wealthy people, they might say that, oh, my first $1 million was the hardest. After that, things just snowballed. I personally can say for myself that probably the first $1 million was the hardest, if I'm being honest. I mean, I made my first 10K within months. It wasn't really something that took forever to get there. And frankly, it didn't take forever to get to $1 million either. I think it took just under 2 years to hit $1 million. But after that, my business has grown substantially. In 2019, when I launched, I did a bit over 100K. 2020, my business grew dramatically, 750K in sales. 2021, I went up to $1.3 million in sales. And 2022, over $1.8 million. So what I'm trying to say is that, you get that benefit of momentum, the snowball. I talk about it a lot on my other platforms, Instagram, TikTok, all of that. The power of a snowball, the power of momentum, and just, kind of building and building and getting there to where you're just rolling. It's the inertia is taking you. I'm not a science girly, but y'all get what I'm saying. It's just kind of pushing itself when you build it up to get to that point. So you've got to build it up, but then after that, you're kind of relying on that momentum that you've already spent the time and the energy putting the pieces into place to build. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that is what I can say as far as that challenge with the saturation, competition. Don't look at it that way. Change your mindset, change your way of thinking. It's not that it's saturated, it's that you have to find the places where you can get in and fit in and make your money. You have to find those opportunities. You have to find your own lane. And that's what product research is all about. So if it were easy, everyone would do it. I don't want to say that it's hard. I don't believe selling on Amazon to be hard. I just believe that you have to be smart about the way that you do it. It's more of a matter of how you do it versus what you do. So keep that in mind. Don't get discouraged. Other people will say whatever they want. They might try to discourage you. They might try to tell you, oh, you'll never make money. Oh, it's too saturated, blah, blah, blah. It's all just words. And I can assure you that when I started selling on Amazon almost 5 years ago, people said the same things to me. And look at where I am now. So ignore all of the noise, focus on what you need to do, and look at it from a positive perspective, because that will affect your level of motivation. That will affect your level of discipline, whether or not you believe you can do it, not what other people have to say. The final challenge that I want to discuss is not something that is unique to Amazon FBA. I will say that it's unique to any new business owner, and that is just keeping track of your expenses, your cash flow, and profitability in general. So when you're starting a business, of course, you know that you're going to have to spend money to make money, but everything that you're spending theoretically is meant to be an investment, right? You're spending some money so that you can make more money later on down the road, and it's the same thing with Amazon. You're spending money on the software so that you can pick a good product, so that you make money down the road. You're investing in actual products to be made so that you can sell them and make more money down the road. So that's exactly where the thought process is. But unfortunately, sometimes people get very caught up in everything else that they're not looking at what really matters. And what matters when you have a business is sales. Sales, sales. How many customers do you have? How much money are you bringing in? That's really important. So it's very helpful if you're able to keep some type of accounting so that you know what is coming in and what is going out. This doesn't have to be super complex. I personally use QuickBooks. I have a bookkeeper. I have a CPA. And so I obviously have numbers in my business that are very large. When you're starting out, you don't need to have all of that. You can simply track your expenses in Excel. You can have a Google Doc, or however you want to do it, where you're just kind of making sure that you're keeping track of what's going out, what's going in, and then you're able to monitor when you're in the green or when you think you're making money but you're not necessarily making a profit. It's important to have a good grasp on all of that, because that will determine how you move forward. If you don't understand your numbers, then how do you know that you should continue ordering that product? You don't know that for a fact. Maybe you think you're making money, but you're not, because you don't know your numbers. You don't understand what's going on behind the scenes. So I do think it's important to make sure that you are keeping track of that and making your business make sense. Spend the money where it makes sense. If it's bringing you in more money, go ahead and invest, continue to spend on your ads if you're making more than what you're spending. But if you're overspending on ads, this is just an example, you really have to take a closer look and determine whether it's worth it to continue running those ads, whether it's worth it to continue selling that product or not. I think a very, very good hallmark of a good business person, and I say this all the time, is knowing when to pivot. It doesn't mean that you're giving up. It doesn't mean that you're quitting. It doesn't mean that you failed simply because you can see something for what it is. You have to have that clear vision and see, okay, I like this product. I spent my time, my energy, and it's something that I just wish would work, but I see the numbers for what they are, and this is not something that is going to make me the type of money that I want to make in the future. Let me phase it out. Let me liquidate the product, recuperate some of my money, and start over with a new product. You waste less time when you are more direct and clear in your decision making, and that's something that comes over time. The first couple of times where you have to make these big choices in your business, it's going to be nerve-wracking. It's going to be a bit stressful because you don't know if you're doing the right thing or not. You don't know what the outcomes are going to be. And as you continue to practice, as you continue to move in your business and grow in your business, you will be more confident when you make those decisions. I think back to the beginning stages, I would cry over these little inconveniences. I would get so stressed out if there was a delay with my shipment, or if my supplier was giving me a hard time, or the price of goods increased. I would lose it. And now, as a very seasoned, more confident businesswoman, 5 years later, if any of those things happen, yes, it might stress me out for a quick second. Maybe I'll scream into a pillow for, a minute, but I'll be over it. And I'm like, okay, how can I solve this? What can I do? What is the best case scenario? What is the best outcome? Who can I delegate this to? How can I make things work? And you will get there, but you have to go through it. It's not one of those things that you can skip over. It's kind of like going through puberty. When you're a teenager, you probably just want to get over the fact that your body's changing or that you're feeling these feelings and you don't know what they are, but you can't just skip to being an adult. It doesn't work that way. You have to go through it to come out the other side, just like with business. And again, not just Amazon, but any other business. So these are some of the things that I've learned over time. And like I said, not even specific to Amazon FBA, but I hope that this can help you, kind of think through a little bit your perspective when you're looking at these obstacles. And I prefer the word challenges to obstacles, because a challenge is just something that maybe you weren't expecting, something that causes you to think differently on how to approach it. But it's not something that is blocking your way. It's just something that's making it a little bit more tricky, a little bit more annoying, but that's all it is. It's an inconvenience, and that's all. It is not a failure. It is not a roadblock. It is nothing finite. It is something that you can always find a way through, over, around. There are lots of ways to get past a challenge. So believe that and understand that you'll be able to solve anything if you keep on going. The worst thing you can do is to just give up and to just quit. So as long as you keep on going, something's got to give. One way or another, you're going to be successful if you keep on trying. I am probably the best example of that, as someone who had 2 failed products, lost thousands of dollars before ever making $1 on Amazon. I can tell you right now that one of the things I am most proud of is the fact that I kept on going, because that is what has led me to where I am now. It was trials and tribulations, but you know what? I kept on going, and that 3rd product was a hit and changed my whole life. So that could be you as well. Don't ever give up. Keep on going, keep on pushing, and find new ways to approach something if it's not working, and you will get there. It's inevitable. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and that's how you want to look at it. I hope this video helped you out in some way. If it did, go ahead and leave a comment. I'd love to chit chat with you guys in the comments. If you've got questions, let me know, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.